Hello, how are you doing? Well, I'm not quite sure whether or not you can guess what I'm actually going to be doing today, but we're going to be doing curry noodles, or as they call it in Malaysia, curry mee. And we're going to be using Madam Kwan's curry paste to do it. Actually, I've made at least 3 dishes from this one packet of paste. 3 different types of dishes, obviously, but I use the one packet for curry noodles. I'll use the chicken curry again for chicken curry. I've even used it with beef. And it's just a little cheat that I have for a weeknight meal, which actually makes life a lot easier. Just add a few ingredients, pump it up a bit for the particular dish you're having. Bob's your uncle, as Jamie Oliver, one of my heroes, says. So the other thing I use is spaghetti. Why? Well, I like the texture of spaghetti, and if you don't boil it al dente, in other words, you boil it a little longer, it gets softer, it becomes like noodles, and sometimes, I don't know, it just makes me feel like it's a little healthier. So, today's thought of the day: how many times have you said to yourself, or ooh, it's a stormy day in PJ, in Petaling Jaya, where I live. How many times have you said to yourself, they don't deserve my forgiveness? Or you've heard it, they don't deserve my forgiveness. The thing is, one thing I've learned about forgiveness, it's not someone you give to someone else. It's actually something you give to yourself. Does that sound sort of like meta pop psychology? Yes. Why? The reason being, forgiveness is about letting go as well. And the best moments for me, in my experience, have been about letting go. One favorite story or meme that I've seen around the internet is how that teacher, that lecturer in the front of the class tells everyone to pick up the glass of water that they're holding in front of them and just hold it out like this. And after 5 minutes it was fine, but after about 20 minutes to half an hour it starts getting really tiring. Now, holding on to that grudge or that feeling of negativity is that glass of water. It doesn't seem very heavy, but over time it weighs on the soul. So I encourage you to find your ways to forgive. If you want to talk to me about it or leave comments down below about it, please do. I would be very happy to have a chat with you. But in the meantime, let's talk about curry mee. Now, curry mee in Malaysia is basically a bowl of curry stock or curry soup in which you put your noodles, chicken, fish cake, and prawns if you'd like, fish balls, not their reproductive kind, but the kind you make from that meat. I'm not sure that sounds even better, but yes, so today we're going to do that, and then you top it off and garnish it with bean sprouts and herbs of all kinds. And it's up to you to see what you want to do and put in it, because it's really up to your taste buds. And today it's about a cheat day lunch. In other words, you want to cheat to make it quickly, or it could even be for those people who exercise, which means that spaghetti is really healthy. You could actually substitute the coconut milk with a little yogurt, makes it a little tangy, and so on and so forth. The possibilities are limitless, especially when you start with a good quality curry paste like Madam Kwan's. Please, I'm not being paid for this, but I do love this. I've made chicken curry with it. I've made curry noodles with it. It's just absolutely yummy. Thank you so much, and let's go find our joy and make us some curry noodles. As usual, I write out the recipe and it begins with the curry paste. Follow the directions in the back, but add all the ingredients that I mentioned inside with whatever leafy green veg you would like. It's actually not difficult at all when you don't have to blend the curry paste together. As you can see, I'm using bean sprouts. I love a lot, so I add more. I'm using fried tofu, fish cake, and some romaine lettuce because that was what was in my fridge. I'm not a purist. I would start with water and use a good quality concentrated chicken stock in a bottle if it's available. If not, I'll just use a chicken cube with no MSG added. That's important to me. Having said that, I'll use 2 big bowls of water for about 3 people. Add the chicken and poach it, and use that as part of the stock as well. It does flavor the soup very well. Add the stock cube. I've also been known to mix an anchovy stock cube with a chicken stock cube. Having said that, read the instructions on the back of the packet. The Madame Kwan's paste requires you to give it a fry until it's fragrant before you add anything in. Here I'm adding in all the tofu and fish cake. Add the curry paste and simmer it for at least 15 to 20 minutes to cook out the chicken. Give it a good stir. Here's where I get lazy again, and I just chuck in the noodles into the curry soup. I don't actually cook them separately, so that's why I add a little extra water in at the beginning. So bring it back to the boil and give it a good stir. At this point, you might want to take the chicken out and strip the meat. Here's how lazy I get. I even put frozen chicken in here. Because I know I'm going to boil it in the stock, I can strip the meat and put it back in to cook thoroughly before I actually serve it. Immediately after that, I blanch the bean sprouts and the fried tofu with some freshly boiled water. That's all you need to do. Leave it for a minute or two, then strain it, and you've got your bean sprout garnish. Here's a good tip for getting a clean peel of shell off your hard-boiled egg. Put it into a roiling boiled soup after you've washed it, of course, and then leave it in a low simmer for about 8 minutes. Put it into cold water and crack it and peel, and you'll get a clean peel all the time. Add your coconut milk last, as you don't want the coconut milk fat to actually split, as you see in some street vendors' stalls sometimes. But at this point, after you've added the coconut milk, let it come back to the boil, and if you want to add your prawns, this is the time to do it. You don't want to cook your prawns for more than a couple of minutes because you don't want to overcook them. There's nothing I hate more than mushy prawns. As mentioned earlier, here is the egg in cold water and I'm cracking it to peel. Watch how easily the peel comes off. All you have to do at this point is really just to plate up. This is actually where I put the veg in. I chuck it in for about a minute as I only want it slightly wilted. I don't like veg which is cooked to a mush. So here's my veg looking as green as when it went in, just warm. I didn't have prawns on me today, but at the end of the day, as you can see from the picture, it was a glorious curry noodle feast. And look at those beautifully done eggs with a little bit of bottled sambal. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you will try these curry noodles. And as always, come find your joy with me Please subscribe and like, and I'll see you soon.